Listen, hey, B, Jamie, that's me here. We all may be a little stressed. I know I am, child, because I'm still shook by the fact that Wendy Osefo and her husband, Eddie Osefo, have been arrested. They have since, from my understanding, been released. Okay. For the people that's been somewhere under a rock and not sure of what's going on, Real Housewives of Potomac star Wendy Osefo and her husband, Eddie Osefo, who is the owner of Happy Eddie, unfortunately, were recently arrested on insurance fraud, which is a felony. And between the both of them, they have over 30 charges at this time. Of course, they are innocent until proven guilty, but I'm going to be honest, it looks a little shaky, I have to say, because of the email. It's the email for me that somehow they were able to get access to, where they are alleging that Wendy's husband sent her a list of things that they were trying to, claim with the insurance company. And then he said, is there anything else high end that we could put on the list? I am trying to get the policy to be, or at least to get the cost to be up to $423,000, which would be our maximum, right, for this insurance. And according to the police, the sheriff's department, they are saying that the Osefos pretty much finessed the insurance companies out of $450,000, and they likely gonna have to pay them people back more than that. All right, if they are indeed found guilty in the court of law, will they do time? I don't know. I hope they got a fire attorney that's gonna be able to work out something to where they just have to pay the money back and not go to prison. IDK. But I really cannot see my girl Wendy in the same jumpsuit that Miss Karen had on. Like, I'm still floored. I'm still shook until this day. All right. I'm just still a little surprised. Now, I will say that the family did come out, or at least Wendy and her husband have come out. They did put a statement out. They broke their silence. I want to make sure that we get into what it is that they have to say. All right. I guess on behalf of a spokesperson, they said the Real Housewives of Potomac star Wendy Osefo and her husband Eddie, or Edward Eddie Osefo, has issued a statement on their arrest for alleged fraud. They're saying Dr. Wendy Osefo and her husband, Edward Osefo, are back home safely with their family and in good spirits. They are grateful for the outpouring of concern and support from friends, fans, and colleagues. They're saying the Osefos, alongside their legal team, look forward to their day in court. At this time, they respectfully ask for privacy as they focus on their family and the legal process ahead. All right. So that's what's going on with Wendy and that husband. They are out. They are safe and sound. Let the people tell it, honey. Or at least let their people tell it. They are out. They are safe. And I do think they got a long road ahead of them, honey, because it's not looking good at all. But what I want us to get into really quickly
Thing was this during
is a interview that Wendy did a while back where she talked about this break-in. And I don't know, I'm a little concerned for my girl, because I don't know if it happened or not. All I know is that the sheriff's department said they looked around the house, did a full investigation. When it came down to the home, they did not see anything out of place, no forced entry, and it was very questionable, right? So, and they looked at the phone, or at least the ring camera, any footage they had, and it showed no activity during the time that they were gone, unless somebody was dropping a package off at the front door. So right now, it's just looking a little sketchy for them. It's just not looking good, but I'm glad that they are in good spirits, honey. Hello, but let us go ahead and just check out really quick this interview that she did with this person. So let us go ahead. Let me get this up on the screen for you guys, and we're going to check out this interview she did a while back.
forgot that in April your home was broken into or something. Was this during filming that this happened?
I think it was right before, like
Okay.
literally before
Oh,
camp went up. It happened because my family was away on spring break. It was our spring break trip with the kiddos. And I was just so heartbroken. Like, I think a few of my first initial scenes, I'm just a little bit uneasy because we had just been
yeah.
violated, so to speak. It was the worst thing. It's so unexpected, especially since, from my vantage point and from the investigators' vantage point, it was targeted. You know,
Really?
yeah,
Yeah.
because I've lived in this neighborhood for, a long time, but since the neighborhood has been in inception for over 20 years, there has been no burglary.
Yeah.
Like nothing. And so it's so heartbreaking. And again, like going back to my earlier statement, where at my core, what centers me is motherhood. My first thought was my kids. You
Mm-hmm.
know, part of the reason why I live where I live is for their safety, for them to have ample, acres to be able to run, play, enjoy, free of anything. And when someone comes into your home, which is such a sacred space, and violates you in that way, you start questioning things. So I'm just glad that we are okay, we're safe, and we are able to move forward from that as a family. But man, that was definitely gut wrenching.
And
Absolutely.
that's something you have to process too. That's not
Yeah.
something that you just, okay, it happened. We've locked the house back down. No, like I think the mental recovery from something like that must be kind of difficult.
Absolutely. And now my house is like Fort Knox before, but now it's like complete Fort Knox, like nothing, nothing. Even how we vacation is different. How I post on social media is different.
Mm-hmm.
Girl.
It's altered the way I move. And, you want to be naive and feel like no one is watching you. You could just live life freely. But unfortunately, that is not the case. So it has
Mm-hmm.
changed a lot of things.
She says it had changed a lot of things. I am concerned for Wendy. I do feel like that footage there will likely be used against her child in some shape, form, or fashion. Um, I don't know, Wendy, because see, this is what I'm starting to think. I'm like, well, maybe their home was broken into, right? Maybe they could have been wrong allegedly for adding on additional things that they should not have added on to the list of things they were claiming, right? But when you have the police saying that they went in the home, they checked out everything, and they didn't see nothing out of place, I don't know. And then it was no activity. Girl, I hope they lying, and we ain't gonna act like the police don't. However, I don't know. We just gonna have to wait and see. Now, what I will say is that Wendy was expected to be a part of Bravo's Real Housewives house swap. I'm sorry, wife swap they were doing on the show, and I'm not sure if she's gonna be on it. It sounds like what I'm hearing is that they snatched her episode, and they're also pushing it back. So I'm not sure. We're gonna get into this article on US Weekly, and we're just going to see what they have to say about this, okay? What they are letting us know is that viewers will have to wait a little longer to watch Bravo's new show, Wife Swap, right? The Real Housewives edition. Although the series was originally scheduled to premiere on Tuesday, October 14th, they're saying Us Weekly has learned that the show's first episode has been postponed 1 week to October 21st, okay? Now they're saying that they can confirm the premiere will kick off with Angie of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, all right? And she's going to be swapping with Lindsay. So I don't know if they're rearranging this for it to show up at a later time, like if they're rearranging Wendy's for the timing to line up with the court date she has in November, or if they're scrapping her portion altogether. What I was hearing was that Wendy's was supposed to be the first episode to drop. Now they're pushing it back, and they snatched her episode. So I'm gonna believe, because let's be clear, Wendy's not the only person to have some type of allegations like this, to go to get arrested or anything like that. And Bravo's still gonna promote them. I do feel like when situations like this happen, they use this as a way of marketing for them, in my personal, and to get some type of rating. So if they snatched it from October 12th, I feel like they're gonna move her episode down to the time frame where she's supposed to be going to court in November. But that's an opinion. That's not a fact. Okay. I'm not over there inside the Bravo's offices to know. But I'm like, what Wendy did, was it that bad for you guys to snatch up her episode as a whole? Or did you guys just switch it, change it, rearrange it? Right? That's what I'm wondering. I'm skimming these, not scamming, honey. I'm not scamming. Okay. But I'm skimming through the article just to see if there's anything additional. They're just saying that it is unclear when Wendy's specific episode will air. They're saying that Real Housewives of Orange County, Emily Simpson is going to be swapping with Melissa Gorga. So they're saying that that's going to show a little later in the fall. Is that right? Let me say this. I'm not going to say they're swapping with each other, but these two ladies are a part of that house swap situation, and theirs is going to air later on in the fall. So for me, that's what I'm thinking. And that's what I'm thinking they're going to rearrange Wendy's and line it back up to when she goes to court. And when she goes to court, there's going to be more conversation about it, more details. You know what I'm saying? So we'll just have to see what's going to happen with that. I don't think it's going to go completely away because too many people going to be tuned in. And it's like, really, y'all should have dropped it this week. Why would you push it back? But then they could be snatching it up. Right? Because I mean, you would get the ratings whether it's now or whether it's later. So, and the conversation is so hot right now. Why would you snatch it up from this week? So maybe they are reevaluating whether or not they're going to keep that episode. But if that's the case, I truly feel away. Bravo. Because Teresa can show her as do as she did, go to prison or whatever, and then come back and be a part of a show. And I'm sure there are others on top of Karen when y'all got the cameras up. So I don't know. I wonder what really happened. Or is the timing just that interesting that they pulled Wendy's episode? Maybe they needed to edit some things or something. Who knows, child? I don't, but very, very interesting. Okay. I wanted to get into more because it seems that although, you know, Wendy and her husband and everything are in good spirits, it seems like Ashley Darby might be in some good spirits too, because she has finally come out to speak out about the situation with Wendy. And I want us to hear what Miss Ashley Darby decided she wanted to tell the people, honey. So let us get into that real quick. Let's check it out.
Felonies, if you know what I mean.
We're making melodies and not catching felonies. And let's be honest, Ashley, let's not act like you actually know how to catch a melody, because you struggling in that department as well. Okay, Miss Shady Boots.
I'm just not there. In case there was some confusion, that's what we're doing around here. Okay, that's it. That's what we're doing. Just making melodies. Okay. All right. That was just a thought.
Let me tell y'all, I can't even be mad at Ashley. Y'all know how I feel about Miss Darby, honey. Y'all know how I feel about Miss Darby for the most part, but I can't even be mad at Ashley. If it's a person that I ain't really rocking with like that for real, and you done found yourself in this type of trouble, it might be a piece of a chuckle. I'm not even finna hold you. I'm probably gonna be chuckling just a little piece, girl. So I can't even be mad at Ashley for wanting to laugh at them a little bit. Like, you're so educated, got these 4 degrees, and you guys may have potentially made one of the dumbest mistakes, or not mistakes, but one of the dumbest decisions you could have made. Again, we do have to say that it's alleged until they are found guilty in the court of law, right? But let us go ahead and hear what else Miss Ashley had to say with her messy self, girl.
Gizelle, I know you did.
Lord have mercy. Zen Win is in the pen.
I know. I'm keeping her in my prayers.
Lies.
All right, I love y'all. Have a good night.
Lies, Ashley. You was not praying. I refuse to believe. Just like you sat up there and said you was crying when Karen went to prison or jail or wherever she was on lockdown. I don't believe Ashley was crying. I'm not gonna say Ashley should be crying, but you know, very unfortunate. I hate it. I hate it, girl. But you know, we gonna find out more about it. Leave your thoughts on that. But the next piece I want us to get into before we get up out of here is Miss Candiace Dillard, because she does talk about Miss Nicki Minaj. So Candiace has this podcast that's called Undomesticated, right? And on this podcast, she's talking about the beef between Cardi B and Nicki Minaj and her thoughts about it and all of that. And she is not in support of how Nicki Minaj showed up on Twitter, right? With this whole beef with Cardi, right? And just how she is in the hip hop when it comes with the other, you know, female rappers that's up and coming and stuff. So Candiace doesn't really think that she is really nice about it, right? It's giving bullying energy. So what she's doing is she's speaking on this situation, and she also goes into her own situation that she experienced with Nicki Minaj when she was doing the reunion. At one point, Nicki did host one of the Real Housewives of Potomac reunions where she specifically asked Candiace to sing a song. And so Candiace chimes into that, all right? Let us go ahead and hear what Candiace has to say about that.
People are going to say, well, you're just mad, Candiace, because Nicki challenged you at whatever season, whatever reunion, I forget what reunion it was, season 7 reunion of Real Housewives of Potomac, when we had the pink on, and I had my bob, my tight bob. And Nicki came out and surprised us midway through the reunion. She hosted a segment of our reunion. And it was very exciting. It was very like, oh my God, it's never happened before. No one has ever hosted the reunion except for Andy. So it was huge. And it was a great moment for our show. It was a great moment for us as a cast. And if you haven't seen it, I'm sure you can go find it. But there was a moment where we were talking about my album sales on my album Deep Space, and particularly on my debut single, Drive Back, and how many physical albums or records, I can't remember which one, I had sold. And it felt like she was being, it felt like she was trying to shade me. It felt that way. And she was like, well, I want you to sing right now. And I sang part of Drive Back. And I commented on it like later online that, yeah, I kind of felt like she was trying to like get me caught up. And so anytime I said anything about Nicki, people are like, oh, you're just mad. No, I'm not mad. I think that Nicki is the greatest. She's one of the greatest in her field, at her craft. She's on an island by herself in the greatest way. She's a legend. And for all intents and purposes.
I have to agree. Right? And I feel like when you oftentimes critique Nicki, people assume that you just don't like her, you're just mad about something. It's like, no, bitch, she just wrong. Okay? She not always right. There's not a single person in this world that's always right. Like, the lady wrong. And people be acting like you can't call her out and say she wrong. She is. Right? So I do have to agree with that, but let's keep going.
With her talent. And for someone to be in such high regard in their own lane with their talent, I don't understand why you feel threatened by Cardi, by women. It's not just Cardi. There's a long list of people. You feel
1,000%. Like, I do feel like Nicki is a legend. Like, she's in her own lane, in my personal. And yeah, you can critique your legends, though. People do it all the time.
And by artists who were literally, probably looking up to you as they were coming up in the rap game. Like Lotto, I'm sure Cardi, especially Cardi, because you and Cardi have the New York connection. These women were looking up to you. And you, for whatever reason, continue to, lead the charge on bullying and nonsense. So I'm giving great pause because I want better for Nicki. And I will also say this, and then I'll be done, I think. Nicki and I are both Sagittarians, okay? And we have our own special set of characteristics, and we are who we are. And as a December Sag, the better of the bunch, I think that I can relate and identify with the way that Nicki will emote at times. There are a lot of times when I want to literally rip new assholes for everybody in my way. Like, in my head, I should go to hell for the things that I think and the way that I want to respond. And I know people say, I go too far and I go too low and I this and I that. Y'all are some punk ass bleeps. Okay. Y'all shut up. Okay. I don't go nearly as hard as I could, as I want to, as I could go harder. But I want to get into heaven. So I don't often say the things that I could say.
I want to get into heaven, so I don't hardly say the things that I really could say. All right. Well, we are coming up in a place where people are very, very sensitive with things that are being said. Okay. Another thing I want us to get into is another piece of an interview where she kind of segues into how Nicki shows up in this whole Nicki and Cardi situation. And she then goes on to kind of like speak about her issue and whatever happened between she and Monique, right? Because at some point during the fiasco between Cardi and Nicki offered Cardi a backhanded apology, and Cardi gave her a backhanded apology as well. Gave it right back to her. So she kind of goes into that conversation where she's talking about, apologies with the person that you may be into or whatever the case is. So this is how we got on the subject of Monique. All right. So let us get back into that to see what she had to say.
Did this
I just realized what's happening. Continue. I'm sorry. I just realized where we're going.
Matter of fact, let me go back just a little tad. I want to go back just a tad.
The show is like people who, I'll use a very specific example. Bird Killer. That's what I call her. You all can fight me. Bird Killer did this
I just realized what's happening. Continue. I'm sorry. I just realized where we're going.
This person turned into a wild boar and attacked my wig. Then, after we've all been separated, days have gone by, she went and had a meeting with the rest of the cast, not me, the rest of the cast, to apologize to them on camera. And then and since then, that was years ago. Since then, much time has passed. She recently, I saw, did a podcast. I didn't see, I heard about this. She did a podcast, allegedly, where she semi-apologized to me on the podcast. And I'm just like, and again, I heard this, and my response to this person who told me this, I was like, bitch, excuse me? Are you talking to me? Because you have my number, and if you don't have it anymore, you can get my number. If you really wanted to say yours, if you were really apologizing, you could call me on my phone. You could send me a DM. But it's not about real connection. It's about validation from outside sources because nobody loved you in your youth. And that is a blanket statement. It's about the validation of it all. It's not about having real connection and wanting to really come to a place of understanding. And just as a blanket statement, everybody needs to just grow up.
Okay, not to be a Hallmark nigga, but I hope a genuine apology finds you eventually, because once I heard Bird Killer and as you started talking, in my mind I went, oh no, they're like the Cardi and Nicki of Maroon.
Are we?
No, but
yeah.
That's crazy. The Cardi and Nicki Potomac is crazy. But listen, okay? That is what Miss Candiace is talking about, right? A genuine apology could have came from Nicki or whatever the case is. Cardi, they could have had a conversation, whatever it was, right? she segues into talking about the Monique situation, which did happen recently. Between not really between she and Monique. That happened a long time ago. So some part of me is like, I hate that she even, mentioned that as, trying to explain some things. But obviously it's something that still bothers her. She wanted to get it off her chest. Whatever. Monique definitely talked about it. It was earlier this year in a interview, right, where she talked about the situation between she and Candiace. And I know y'all was so ready to be like, well, Candiace, why are you talking about it? Shut up. Da, 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 da. It's like, well, Monique talked about it, right? And Monique did offer an apology, right? So I feel like Candiace not wrong. Like, if you're really sorry, like, I haven't blocked you. Like, the call line is still open, okay? You're not blocked on IG. You still could DM me, if you really care. And when she talks about the whole validation, like, oh, it's about validation and this and that from outside sources, she's not wrong with that either. I know a lot of you guys that don't like her are going to feel like she's wrong or whatever the case is, you're going to figure out a way to make it her fault. But she's not wrong because Monique mentioned those very things in her own interview about how she's navigated for the validation of other people. And that's why that interview that Monique did, I really liked, because for me, I saw it. Before Monique really admitted what was going on with her, I already could see, like, yeah, you like to act like stuff perfect is not. You love this validation, whatever the case is. Like, she has some stuff with her, right, that she's been trying to unpack, whatever it is. But I don't think Candiace is wrong. Like, if you say you're sorry and that's how you feel, hit me up. You know what I'm saying? So it seems like the door is cracked. The door is cracked. The door don't seem to be completely closed when it comes to these two ladies. At least it doesn't sound like that to me. It seems like Monique may be a bit of remorseful, whereas Candiace is like, well, guess what? The phone lines are open. Okay, the DMs is open, girl. Hit me up. All right, but I mean, it's kind of tough to hit somebody up if you over there calling him a bird killer. Okay, damn, we're gonna have to work on that. But either way, good luck. That's all that I got. You all leave your thoughts and comments down below. All right. Be sure to like up the video, subscribe to the channel. You can catch me on social media at JamiThatsMe, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. Bye.
Tell him I preach to the choir. Stand with my feet to the fire. Give all the glory to God. Stand in the midst of these haters. I'm silent. Nobody can stop me. Just gotta check in my notification. Them numbers hit like it's a praxis. Cashed out at the ATM and the ATL. They done made a gym. I've been kicking doors like the ATF. Got them trying to clone me like Agents. Game time, I invaded gym. High elevated, I can face the rim. Putting shots up. I got laser focus, about to take it over. I'm Invader Zim. On a trip to Florida like it's A&M. Who that nigga, man? They say I'm him. Spit the truth, never wasting film. I can feel the pool. We